everyone. Today we have organized a webinar on lactoferrin for prevention of COVID-19. But before moving to the webinar, let me introduce our speaker, Mr. Akshay Ramani. He has completed his master's and then after he have worked at a calf laboratory, NABAL accredited at NDDB Anand. And then after he have joined the PhD at the Dairy Chemistry Division, National Dairy Research Institute, NDRI Karnal. And currently he is pursuing his PhD. Let me introduce about this lactoferrin. Lactoferrin is a globular protein mainly found in milk, saliva, tears, nasal secretion. So today our main talk is upon its antimicrobial or antiviral property, that is lactoferrin for prevention of COVID-19. Okay, so let us move to the session. I am handing over to Mr. Akshay. Akshay.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Faculty member and dear student. Today's webinar based on the lactoferrin for prevention of COVID-19. So now we start in here. In here today's seminar, we include the introduction structure of SARS-CoV-2 replication of the COVID-19. What is lactoferrin? How lactoferrin has prevention of the COVID-19. Now we start with the introduction. What is COVID-19? Recently, the world has been dealing with the global pandemic like a coronavirus infection. The novel coronavirus COVID-19 caused by the SARS-CoV-2. It is the devastating threat throughout the world for the modern human society. This COVID-19 is the first novel coronavirus COVID-19 case for registered in China, in Wuhan city of China in December 2019. Then after within the few months, it has been spread all over the world and snatched the lives of the almost 2.4 million people across the globe. Now, after that, the World Health Organization is recognized this disease as a pandemic in 11th March 2020. Now, let's see here. What coronavirus case in present. Here we see. In the image of the coronavirus till that as April 7th April, almost 133 million people are infected to the virus, and around 2.8 million people is dead in over the world due to this COVID-19 virus. Okay. Now we can see here in second image in the below the global coronavirus case passed to the 100 million. Here we see in the second image the global coronavirus case increased day by day. In middle of the 2020, it took more than 2 months to increase the infection of the people to more than 20 million to the 40 million. And now the end of the 2020 and the beginning of the 2021, in few months, here we see the top of the graph. It increased 20 million infected case in just 1 month. Now the coronavirus infection is spread is higher than the previous year of the March and April 2020 comparison. Okay. Now we see in India, in our country, the coronavirus case is almost 1.2 million people are infected to the coronavirus, and almost 16 lakh people dead due to the coronavirus infection. In other hand, the 1.1 million people is recovered from this COVID-19. Now we see in the second image in daily report trend the new infection in present study. It will see in here the beginning in the COVID-19 in March 2020. The sharpness of the graph is not higher as compared to the 2021. Here in the present situation, the coronavirus case increased day by day, and it is the more difficult than the previous year 2020 because the virus is mutation in several times, and now some type of symptom are not indicate the presence of COVID-19. Here the transmission and the susceptibility is the major reason for the spread of the virus. Number of the country have required that the lockdown means the residents of the reduce the social activity and self quarantine to the reduce the spread of the coronavirus. Until there, till recently we see in Gujarat. Yesterday night, our Chief Minister of Vijay Rupani sir was also announced the small in 20 city of the Gujarat that have the night lockdown for the till that at the 13th April. Okay, now move on. What is the COVID-19? COVID, uh, COVID-19. This is the here we see in the image. It is the transmission electron microscope image released by the Vaccine Research Center NIH USA. This is the positive strength of the COVID-19, means SARS-CoV-2. As you can see, this the envelope virus. So that the top of the envelope, the spike, there is the projecting outside, just like giving the like of appearance like a crowd. Uh, Ground. The word of the corona is the Latin means as a crown-like appearance under the electron microscope due to the spike glycoprotein on the envelope. That's why the name of given of coronavirus. It is typical to the typical characteristic of the family of this virus. According to the scientists, there are the four subgroup of the coronavirus has been identified. Among these four groups. The two groups of the coronavirus has been infected in the mammals. Uh, Here we see the coronavirus are the envelope positive strand RNA virus with the crown-like appearance. The new coronavirus belong to the beta coronavirus gene. Here, the SARS-CoV-2 means cerebral respiration rate of the coronavirus 2. The size of the COVID-19 SARS-CoV-2 virus is range in 60 to 140 nanometer. Okay. Now we move on the structure of SARS-CoV-2. What is the structure? As you can see here, the envelope virus. The first part is here we see the first part is the membrane protein, membrane glycoprotein, nucleocapsid protein, spike protein, envelope protein, and RNA. Here we start with the membrane protein. What is membrane protein? Membrane glycoprotein is a central organizer of the COVID assembly. It is the determine the shape of the virus envelope. Okay. Now is the nucleocapsid protein. And the second is the nucleocapsid protein. The protein they bound to genome that the form the nucleocapsid acid. That is the RNA genome. On which the protein bound to it is formed as a nucleocapsid. That's why this called as a nucleocapsid protein. Then after the spike protein, this is the main protein that provide the function for the infection to the prefer. The in here third part is the spike protein. Spike protein is a glycoprotein. That means the protein has some amount of the carbohydrate that help to binding of the virus to the host cell of the surface. Actually, the binding of the receptor cell, ACE2 receptor. ACE2 means the angiotensin converting enzyme to receptor to the chain, and also that give the facility to entry the binding to the receptor cycle and chain to allow to virus to inside the cell membrane. So there is the spike protein is a major protein for the infection of the COVID-19. As per the scientific data, the spike have the more affinity to binding the ACE2 receptor compared to the previous COVID MERS-CoV-2 and SARS-CoV-1 virus. So that may be the reason the most of spread of this virus SARS-CoV-2 all around the world because of the spike protein. Now we want to move on the fourth is envelope protein. And the envelope protein, as you can see, envelope is interact with the membrane protein to the form of the virus of the envelope. They give the virus envelope and the sandwich-like structure. Then and the RNA and the genome is a single-stranded RNA. It is a RNA is a single is a positive sense and approximately 13 kb length of this RNA. Now, COVID-19 spread primarily COVID-19 is spread from the person to person due to the droplet released by the someone sneak or cough can be land on the mouth or the other people can breathing inside. So that's why the close contact with someone sick and like the shaking hand and other reason. So this is the primary that how to spread the COVID-19. Now the general mechanism. Now we see here the general mechanism. The COVID-19 how COVID-19 action on human body. how it can be infect to the human body. Here we see in the here we see the general viral infection of the mechanism of the SARS-CoV-2 virus that, that bind to the ACE2 receptor, angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptor, and enter to the cell and replicate that other virus and make the further copy of the virus and infect it to the human body. Okay, now we move on the replication of SARS-CoV-2. Replication part of the COVID-19 virus in human body, it is a major part. So please carefully listen. In here we start with the step by step. In here, the first step, step one is binding of the virus of the specific spike glycoprotein bind to the angiotensin converted to receptor that has the confirmation to change allow to entry of the virus inside the cytoplasm by due to the endocytosis. In second step, the release of the virus genome. It is the single stranded RNA. It is a positive sense RNA. That means that RNA is ready for the transaction. It is the recognized by the eukaryotic ribosome indirectly, and it is the ready for the translation. As you can know that is the case of eukaryote. The mRNA is processed then may the ribosome can recognize the mRNA. Otherwise, they do not proceed again. Now, in step three is a replication and transcription is two main processes should happen in the successful life cycle of the virus inside the human body. Okay, so the next is the formation of the RTC. Formation of the RTC. RTC means the replication of the transcription complex that involve the many protein. Also, the replication of the genome. You can see the genome and subgenome of RNA. That part of the genome is broke down to the from the subgenomic RNA. Especially the code for the specific part of the virus, like a nucleocapsid, spike protein, membrane protein, and any other, etc. Now, in fourth step is the transcription of the subgenomic RNA. As you can see, this is the region of the genome that code for the nucleocapsid. This is the region of the genome that called as the nucleocapsid, also known as a spike, and any etc. In after that, recognized in fifth step is replication of the genome. It is an RNA genome, replication of genome. It is based on the RNA genome. So the replication of the RNA genome by the enzyme replication, which is an RNA dependent and RNA polymerization reaction. After that, the RNA dependent RNA polymerization reaction. In here, we see the sixth step. This in here the transaction of the genomic RNA forming the nucleocapsid, spike protein, membrane protein, and envelope protein. As you can see, here, the protein are formed, but they enter the endoplasmic reticulum. For the further, it is the modification. So now it goes to the endoplasmic reticulum for the modification of the spike protein, membrane protein, nucleocapsid protein, and envelope protein. Now we see here the next step. The genome is also required its multiplication with the help of the replication of the enzyme. Replication of enzyme and the genome, it is released into the cytoplasm. Here we see the genome is released in cytoplasm, but along with the nucleocapsid protein. During the movement of this viral protein like spike protein, nucleocapsid protein from the reticulum to the Golgi appearance. Now we see in the final step, the end of the final step of the replication process, how it will build. In here, the infected virus is the release from the Golgi appearance. that inside the that present in inside the vessel. This virus is picked in the Golgi vessel, packed in the Golgi vessel. That is the round that we here see in the round cell here, and transport out by the exocytosis. That are transport out by the exocytosis, uh, which is capable to the further infection to the human body. Means this is the only process for replication of the one infected cell to the second genome. After that, make the more copies of the infected virus, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. So this is virus is capable for the further infection. So here the whole here we see the whole replication system how SARS-CoV-2 replication in human body. Now here we see the after we see the cycle of the replication cycle. Here we see the what is when the start the SARS-CoV-2. The SARS-CoV-2 start and the infected to the one people or one human one human body. Then after he is infected to the two. Then after four, this is increased day by day the infection of the SARS-CoV-2 day by day due to the translation and easy to work out by the present infection due to their sickness and other release. Now, here we see the common symptom. After the people are infected from the COVID-19, there is the here we see the common symptom. First of all, the fever, cough, shortness of breath, uh, uh, sore throat, headache. All these symptoms can be detected within 2 to 14 days after the 2 to 14 days after the infection. Okay. However, the presently situation such case those are the infected by the virus, but even without such a symptom. Now we move on the part of the lactoferrin. Lactoferrin is a non-hemo iron binding protein of the transparent family. Lactoferrin is known as the non-iron binding protein as a glycoprotein. It is also okay. So now lactoferrin is also known as a red protein for the milk. Lactoferrin was the first isolate from the bovine milk in 1939. Then after the 1960, the red protein we known as the lactoferrin. Lactoferrin both in human and bovine milk is found in human and bovine milk. This is defined as a transparent glycoprotein. The major role of the lactoferrin in human is transportation of the iron in blood plasma. The iron binding affinity of lactoferrin is maximum along with the all transparent family. In here now we see in here 1986 marketing of the bovine lactoferrin containing first product in my market is marketed by infant formula by the fortification of the lactoferrin started by the Moringa milk industry in Japan. It is the first formula in the world that has been fortified with the lactoferrin content in any type of product. In other now in present situation, the bovine lactoferrin containing product so much product is available in market, including like yogurt, skim milk, supplement, tablet, pet food, and cosmetic item also available in market. Now here we see the some lactoferrin containing product available in market. Here we see the yogurt, a modified milk powder with lactoferrin means infant formula for the children, used for the children. It gives the tablet for the lactoferrin for the improvement to the improve the transportation of the blood via iron plasma. Then after lactoferrin complex food for the pet, and the cosmetic item is also available for in market. Now, what is the occurrence of lactoferrin? Lactoferrin is produced by the mucosal epithelia cell in the various mammalian species, as the camel milk and goat milk, but it is the most prominent in bovine milk as well as in human milk. Lactoferrin is also found in considerable amount in secondary neutrophilic granules, where it is the plays significant physiological role. This glycoprotein is found in mucosal secretion, including tears, saliva, uh, urine, and other most highly in milk and colostrum. In colostrum, lactoferrin is about 7 grams per liter. According to study, revealed that the lactoferrin concentration changed during the memory cycle and during the lactation of the animal. In the cow, let's say in the cow, the concentration of the lactoferrin especially increased during the development of the mammary gland, means the colostrum formation, where during the lactation the level of the lactoferrin is decreased as opposed to the increase the level of the casein. Now we see the lactoferrin amount from the different biological food. Colostrum. Here we see the colostrum breast milk contain more than 7 milligram per ml. In mature milk contain 1 to 2 milligram per ml lactoferrin. In cow milk contain 20 to 200 microgram per ml. But if you take if you take a cow milk colostrum, it gets the more than 1.5 milligram per ml lactoferrin. Seminal plasma contains zero point 0.4 to 1.9 milligram per ml lactoferrin. Then after saliva contains 7 to 10 microgram per ml. And here we see the human milk colostrum. Human colostrum milk is higher comparison to the other, almost 7 milligram per ml of colostrum. Then after the cow milk colostrum content in animal, the cow milk colostrum content higher. In camel milk also the lactoferrin content is higher as compared to the other cow and buffalo. Now we see the lactoferrin give the different biological functional and activity. For example, it gives antiviral activity, immunomodulatory activity, antimicrobial activity, anti-cancer activity, antioxidant activity. Now, antiviral activity we discuss in the next slide, but now we just slightly recap about the antimicrobial activity. In lactoferrin is mechanism of what is the mechanism of antimicrobial? In antimicrobial activity, the lactoferrin gives the gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. Bacteria is based on then binding due to the net positive charge of the anionic molecule on the bacterial surface, mainly due to the lipolytolic acid that reduce the negative charge of the cell wall and contact between the lysozyme and undertaking the peptidoglycan over the extent of the enzymatic effect, and then why they reduce the reduce the effect of the enzymatic effect of the any microorganism. In other hand, we discuss about the gram-negative bacteria in interaction with the lipopolysaccharide. They play the important functional in for this. The positively charged of the N-terminal lactoferrin prevent the interaction between the lipopolysaccharide and the bacterial constituent. The bacteria contain the calcium and magnesium that release the lipoprotein from the cell wall and increase the membrane permeability and damage the bacterial cell. That's why they give the antimicrobial activity against the gram-positive and gram-negative. Antiviral in antiviral activity, we see the antiviral activity is just common. The lactoferrin bind and block to the receptor like glycosaminoglycan and the heparan sulfate receptor bind to the receptor and reduce the first contact between the virus and host cell. That's why they prevent the infection of the different virus to the human. Then after the antifungal activity, Effect of lactoferrin is ability to sequence of the activity to sequence of the iron Fe3 plus iron sequence by the neutrophilic and apoliptoferrin is important for the host defense against the antifugal effect. Apoliptoferrin is in the milk protein is greater effect against the microorganism and antimicrobial activity. Anti-inflammatory and anti-immunomodulatory effect. In, uh, in in this activity, there's just increase the number of the interleukin cell 1, interleukin cell 2, and interleukin cell 3 for the reduce the risk and improve the inflammatory effect in our body. Then after we move on how lactoferrin is potential to prevent the COVID-19 case in a real situation. Now we see here the the several paper has been found for the that give the effect on the lactoferrin that give the effect against the COVID-19. But mostly all paper are the review paper. They suggest the common mechanism that has been discussed about the antiviral effect, antimicrobial effect, anti anti-inflammatory effect, anti-inflammatory effect. That's like so now. Then after I was complete the three main mechanism that we can know here. In mechanism one, we can see here we can see the previous slide of the general infection of the SARS-CoV-2 in the human body. How it enter in the human body. SARS-CoV-2 enter to the human body by the SE2 and heparin sulfate receptor. Heparin sulfate receptor used as a door to enter the inside the cell. Okay, now you can see in the second image. In here, now you can see in the second image, the in the real situation, after the lactoferrin is bind to the bind and block to the galactosamine glycan and viral receptor like SE2 receptor, heparin sulfate, glycosaminoglycan receptor. The bind to this receptor is and prevent the first contact between the virus and host cell to prevent the infection of the human body. Lactoferrin, here we see the lactoferrin bind directly. 2 to 3 mechanism also in here also. Lactoferrin directly. First one is the lactoferrin is bind directly to the virus particle. Second one is lactoferrin bind to the heparin sulfate glycosaminoglycan receptor of the in human body cell. Then after lactoferrin bind to the surface of the receptor. And after the final mechanism is the lactoferrin get inside the cell wall and the active anti-inflammatory pathway to reduce the risk of the COVID-19 to increase and replicate them more copies. Okay, now we move on the second mechanism how the how lactoferrin is reduce the risk of the COVID-19. Here we can see the main cause of death during the COVID-19. Main cause of death during COVID-19 is mainly the choke of the lung and shortness of the breathing of the some patient and need some supporting supports like a ventilator and measure case ventilator and other oxygen. That main case to death during the COVID-19 treatment. Now we will look at how it's possible for lactoferrin to reduce the risk of the COVID-19. Here we see in image the airflow in the airflow. We take the airflow in through the air, our mouth and nose to down your airway and inside the lung. In here, the oxygen from your lungs pass into the bloodstream throughout your body and CO2 throughout your body and CO2 is a breathing out. CO2 is a breathing out. Then after your virus infection, the viral infection of the cell along with your airbags by the attaching to the SE2 angiotensin converting 2 enzyme receptor on this cell. The virus used SE2 receptor as a door to get inside the cell and make more copy of itself. Now the virus enter in your body. So now the virus and your immune system reaction and inflammatory damage in the air cell of your body, and the lungs then after the damage of the lungs and the blockage of oxygen from passing from your lungs to the bloodstream. After that, reduce the passing of oxygen from the passing from your blood with as blood oxygen level is fall down in patient. In you may feel the shortness of the breath, and the patient may feel the shortness of the breathing and need some support for the breathing, like a ventilator and other support for the breathing, and main cause the death of the COVID-19 patient. Here we see the low immunity. Here with the main importance and role of the lactoferrin is immunity. Now the viruses enter in the body, then after the work your immunity. Based on your immunity, how it will be respond. The low immunity and inflammatory is the respiration tract have been identified as the main cause of death during COVID-19 infection due to the short breathing and ventilator. So the major aspect of the lactoferrin was bioactive related to immunomodulatory and anti-inflammatory function. They give the and increase your immune system and reduce the infection in your lungs for the breathing. So in this situation, lactoferrin can prove the protection against the disease that the virus it come inside the body. So how can be reduce the risk of the COVID-19. Now here we see in the now here we see in the third mechanism. In third mechanism, we see in the third mechanism is based on the cytokinase. In cytokinase that based on the cytokinase gives the several effect on the your body. Clotting of when cytokinase in after the your damage of lung, they they also move, move again to the infection of the blood clotting, shock of death, lung injury, death, cell of death, immunoparalysis, and renal failure. The cytokinase form that reduce the interleukin 1, interleukin 2 that increase the dendritic cell and increase the cytokinase storm. That's why the shocking and blood clotting. That's why the people major case of the death in COVID-19. Now we see here how lactoferrin is reduce the cytokinase infection in here. Lactoferrin is a modulate of the innate and acquired immune system. Lactoferrin is inhibit the pro-inflammatory cytokinase such as the interfusion gamma, tumor necrosis factor alpha, and the interleukin 6, interleukin 1. At the cellular level of the lactoferrin increase the number of the natural killer cell. That the natural killer cell the boost the recruitment of the polymonuclearized cell in the blood that induce the pathocytosis and cause the modulate the myeloprotective process and the reduce the risk of the cytoplasm. Now here we see the mechanism based on the review paper. Now the I found the one clinical study, the research paper based on the lactoferrin, how that can prove the how lactoferrin that reduce the COVID-19. And here one of clinical trial is taken by the Spanish laboratory, and that claim that reduce the COVID-19 in this situation. So let's look at the here. Here in here we see in the Spanish laboratory take a 75 patient with the typical symptoms of the COVID-19 that have the typical symptom of COVID-19. That after they tested the all patient 75 patient to the RT-PCR test and get tested positive the all patient all patients are tested positive. Then after the patient were isolate and at treated at home. Then after in at all patients are reviewed two time in a day for the 10 days and follow by the month. Here it gives the Spanish laboratory make one product for the treatment of the COVID-19 patient that have the positive test by the RT-PCR. It gives the treatment dose in the uh, one product that's called as a lactoferrin unity. In this product, the dose is liposomal bovine lactoferrin for food supplement syrup. 32 milligram of the lactoferrin out of the 10 ml and 12 milligram of the vitamin C. This dose is taken in 4 to 6 times in a day for the 7 to 10 days. And the other is the zinc. We also provide the zinc solution that have the 10 milligram per 10 ml. That this dose is from you take this dose as a two to three time in a day. Okay. Now that after this, they gives us some result and discussion. Okay. Now we move on the result of this clinical study. Now in the result by the scientific laboratory that concluding here first step of all the understanding in here we have the first step is understanding the graph. In this graph, the red color means the positive symptom present in patient, and the blue color of graph that indicate the recovery of that symptom in the patient. Okay, so now we just focus on the red color part, red graph of red graph. Now we here see in the first symptom in here that measured by the Spanish laboratory is a muscular pain. In here uh, muscular pain is that higher in the zeroth day when the patient has admitted and before the treatment was started. Okay. Before the treatment was started, the higher graph is the muscular pain is 66 almost 66% after the zero day. Then after the treatment was started and give the dose for the then invented lactoferrin product. Then after we tested after the 2 day, 2 day means the 48 hours, they reduced 66% to the 44%. And then after he also tested their patient after the 5 day, they also reduced 22%. So here we consider the significantly decrease of the COVID-19 infection to the zero day after the treatment was started to the 5th day. So it is a significantly decrease. And in other hand, we see here the recovery rate. Recovery rate of the zeroth day is 33%. Then after 55%, and then after the 77%. Here we also see other hand the recovery rate is also increased day by day at the end of the 5th day. Then after we move on the second symptom, the tiredness. Tiredness. Here we see the highest symptom found in the patient in the zeroth day, almost 94%. Then after the treatment was started by the Spanish laboratory, and then by it will be decreased significantly as compared to the zeroth day, as a 66% and 27%. On the other hand, we see here the recovery rate also increased significantly day by day due to this treatment and due to the dose of lactoferrin. Now we also see here the diagram. Here is measured the diagram for the fever. This is the main symptom for the COVID-19 patient. Here we also see in the zeroth day the fever is higher 61% patient. Then after started the treatment of the treatment of the patient, there will be the decrease at day by day. After 2 days, it will decrease 61% to the 50%. Then after 2 day also means of fifth day is also decreased the 38%. In other hand, here we also see the other hand the increase the rate of the recovery rate, the 38% to 50% and 61%. Here increase, but increase slightly comparison to muscle pain and diet. Now the headache. Headache is also the one of the symptom of the COVID-19. Here we see in the first day almost 55% patient get this type of symptom in when it is admitted. Then after the treatment was started by the lactoferrin based product. Then after the then after the 48 hour it can be zero and fifth hour. And here we see the other hand the recovery rate is directly increase 44% to the 100%. So a year old research data can be just in mind that suggests that the lactoferrin can also that finally prevent the COVID-19 when you use as a precursor. Now, here, what is that conclude that by the Spanish laboratory is the treatment of all the treatment for the patient is all completed and the fast recovery in the all patient is almost 100% within the 4 to 5 days. Same treatment as a lower dose that prevent the disease in the healthy person directly related with the affected patient. So here we use as a lactoferrin as a not prevention for the use as a prevention for the COVID-19. Lactoferrin causes the antiviral due to the lactoferrin causes antiviral, immunomodulatory, anti-inflammatory effect that might be important for the treatment of COVID-19 infection. We also conclude that the lysozyme lactoferrin is provide prevention for the cure COVID-19 infection. That is concluded given by the Spanish laboratory that research of the lactoferrin. And this product then after we release this product in available in market, Spanish market and available in global market also. Here we see the what is the main product. Here we see the lysozyme lactoferrin product dose. Here the treatment dose is also divided into 4 to 5 different groups. Here we see the treatment dose is 64 to 96 milligram for every 6 hours in daily. In which patient were cure COVID-19 patient, the dose can be increased 128 milligram in every 6 hours also. For the you can take lactoferrin also for the prevention for the COVID-19 means the prevention dose is also lower as 64 milligram 2 to 3 times in daily can prevent the COVID-19 means average 128 milligram per day. That prevention for the COVID-19. For the also that gives also guidance for the pregnant woman and infant children. In pregnant woman means mom, my name the mother the lysozyme lactoferrin dose is 64 milligram in 2 times in a day that prevent the COVID-19 almost the 188 milligram in a day. The in infant children for children they provide the 62 milligram dose in 10 ml packet and to take 2 to 3 times in a day that prevent the COVID-19. Here in this product also added some lactoferrin drop contain nano lactoferrin and quickly relieve actual symptoms and alternative smell and taste regarding some ingredient also. Then after what is the main conclusion after this product and also we see the several type of the review paper that also mentioned that the lactoferrin is gives the beneficial effect to reduce the risk of the COVID-19 that prevent the COVID-19. So now what is the main conclusion? And one of two research also can be provide the data for the reduction of the COVID-19 infection in the human body. Okay, so now in here In here we see here the now vaccine is also available in our country. So now the what is the main conclusion in present situation? Now vaccine is available against this virus, and also vaccine is available in our country also now. So, but due to the huge population of our country, it take a long time to vaccination of each and every people and each and every citizen of our country. Here we see the graph in second image of the graph that vaccination dose per the 100 people in country with the highest total vaccination. Here we see the first one is Israel taken 64 people that vaccinated in 100 people. Then after US, UAE, UK, US. In India, in here the India is the last 10th rank in 0.4%. In here that conclude that in India in vaccinate in 100 people in every 100 people 0.4 people are vaccinated from the COVID-19 vaccine. So now in our country, the huge population of our country, we take some time to vaccinate to each another. So now the main conclude is to take some precaution and the lactoferrin like a product, or lactoferrin like product to take the lactoferrin like product. Now, not mentioned, I will not prepare this product, but you can take any. Lactoferrin is mainly higher amount in camel milk, bovine milk. Also present the camel milk also present in available in market. Camel milk ice cream, camel milk powder. So you can take this type of the ingredient in your diet and increase your immunity to reduce the risk of the SARS-CoV-2. However, by the maintain the and also you take some precaution also the wearing the mask. However, by the maintain the social distancing and immunoboosting through the consumption of the healthy food and can positively wear against this viral infection from the disease. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. If you have any question, please go to this email ID. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Akshay sir. It was very informative session. Hopefully, our viewers may have enjoyed your this webinar or the topic. You have explained very well regarding the mechanism of action of COVID virus, as well as the action of prevention or whatever the prevention mechanism of lactoferrin against COVID virus. After listening to your webinar, I have remembered the quote of Hippocrates: "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." That is the newer concept which is circulating among the world. That is FOSU foods, like food for specific health use, or a functional food, that are the emerging category of the food in our food science. And research are also going on regarding this functional food or food for specific health use, nutraceuticals. And therefore in our milk also there are many antimicrobial components or proteins are present, and one of you have explained very well. uh, I have also enjoyed it very well in listening to. Thank you very much, Akshay sir, for a beautiful presentation of lactoferrin against the prevention of COVID-19. It would be very much helpful to our student also, as well as whatever the viewers viewing right now. It will be helpful to them also for boosting their immunity, for improving their health by a food. Thank you very much again. I also like to thank our HOD sir, principal sir, dean ma'am, for providing such an opportunity, as well as PU webinar team for providing such a beautiful platform, so as we can reach multiple number of people throughout the nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You can leave, Akshay sir, you can leave now.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Hello.